They say that's life. Oh look, I found a good spot. Glare isn't too bad. Hello. Please don't mind my hair. I don't know what to do with her. Hey kiddos, it's JiggyKiddo. This is episode 20. Might be my last episode, not 100% sure. If it's my last one, you'll know because I'll never post anything ever again. I have so much hair, Jesus, jeez Louise. Today I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about growing up with an evil step-parent, aka my stepdad, who is no longer my stepdad. I don't actually know where he's at in life, what he's doing, if he has other kids, if he changed his name. I have no idea, and honestly, it's for the better. Because now my family and I are free of this person. If you were around in my childhood at all, you will know who I am talking about. And I'm sorry that you had to go through any of that trauma yourself, because my friends were no exception. He was unkind to everybody. Mota is in the room with me. He's over there laying in my pillows. I will let him say hi a little later so you can see his cute little face. But, so, for starters, this man was in my life, my mother's life, and my sister's lives from my age of, I want to say about 4 to 18, so my whole childhood, a good almost 15 years, probably. Yeah, let's just say he was in my life for 15 years, and we're going to call him Bob for this episode because, of course, we're not going to name names. Like I said, if you grew up with me, you know his name. I want to put some lip gloss on, but bitch is stuck. Oh, God. Ow, that hurt my teeth. I shouldn't have done that. So, welcome back. I had a stepdad, and he is no longer in my life. My biological parents, they split up when I was 3 or 4, so he came into our lives pretty much immediately. My dad always tells me that the first time I ever met him, I headbutted him. So like from an early age, I knew that I was not going to like this man, or I just knew that he was probably not a good person. I don't know. I feel like kids just know. Sometimes your animals have a good sense of people. I feel like so do babies. So baby Kendra knew that this man was going to be chaos. I'm also sharing this story just kind of for validation for anyone else who has kind of gone through the same thing, or I just want to advocate that a lot of people may have a home life that you know nothing about, and then they have to grow up to reteach themselves how to be or who to be or what to be. And I feel like I kind of snapped out of being brainwashed by this person. I want to say, oh, there goes the sun. I want to say it's been about 4 years since I just like woke up and was like, this man isn't even in my life. Why is he still controlling me? Why do my thoughts still have such a grasp on who he taught me to be, I guess? And I also am so aware that now that I'm an adult, I am responsible for how I perceive life and how I treat people and how I treat myself. So this isn't an excuse for who I may have been in the past, but I do think that, again, this is me just trying to literally validate that it may take years for you to move on from being a person who you used to be, and not everyone in your life is going to meet you at a healed version and think that you're better than you used to be. Versus like some people you may have grown up with and they're like, wow, this person has completely changed. And some people know that about me, some people don't. And not everyone in your life is going to understand that you kind of came from like a troubled situation. You don't have to explain to people for them to understand. They can either take it or leave it. But I also just think that a lot of this stuff in my life that happened with Bob is kind of just worth storytelling, because sometimes I'll tell people like things that happened or things that were going on and they're like, what the fuck? Excuse my French. This is story time. Can we just say that this is story time? I do also partially believe that me growing up this way has taught me how to not be to other people and to my own children. So am I grateful that I went through a lot of these things? Sure, yeah. I feel like that's how I've learned that I kind of have to feel about it, and how I kind of have to see it is I'm grateful I'm alive. because to be honest, that man made it hard to live. This is such a serious story, I swear, but it's also not. Like, we're gonna let go of the attachment of this is not who I am anymore, and this is not what any of my family members deserved from another person. But, okay, so, to get right into it, geez Louise. Also, to throw it out there, anyone who may ask, like, where was your mom in this, or what was your mom doing? My mom was working, like, 2 to 3 jobs at a time. She even went back to school at one point, so, like, in a way, she was just working really hard, and he did treat us differently in front of her, or behind closed doors and stuff, so I feel like, personally, she wasn't really super aware of some of the things that were going on. I love my mother. My mother is one of my best friends, and I will forever be grateful of her. I just think that she was kind of victim of being brainwashed and just believing that this is what she deserved, or this is the life that we were supposed to be living, until we all got out of it. So we are all healing. We are all a little damaged from this person, but my mom is not someone that you need to come for, because I'll come for you in that case. Leave her out of it. 15 years shortened into one podcast. Let's see how long this takes. This man raised me. He raised me. Which is funny because once my mom and him split up, never heard from him again. Nothing. Silence. The man ran away. As he should. But Bob was not a happy person, to be honest. I believe that he kind of just was living his life a little miserable. He was unhappy, he was manipulative, he was narcissistic, he was absent, he was sarcastic, he just was not kind. Out of making my list and writing down all the random facts that I may have wanted to talk about, the only positive thing that I could come up with was that he knew how to cook. That man could cook. Otherwise, I'm so sorry that I realistically don't have many kind things to say, and not out of hate, because I forgive this person, but like, that's how kind of bad it was, I think. Anyways, let me get into some examples, because the proof is in the receipts. He did not like affection, he did not like communication, he didn't like anything that, you know, little kids should have, I guess. So like, if we cried, we were shunned, we were yelled at. One time I remember I was really upset and I came up to him to give him a hug, and he literally like shoved me back, like did not want to give me a hug, did not want to like coddle me or anything. I feel like in a way I've kind of learned that like affection is not a thing, and you don't hug people and you don't cry to people, and I know that that's not true, and it's definitely changed a lot more nowadays. Of course, I'm grown, but yeah, I am not a hugger, and I think that it may partially be because anytime that like I was a little girl and I reached out for like some affection when I was upset, it was not allowed. We also weren't allowed to like sing at the dinner table. I thought that that was a rule everywhere, like it was disrespectful to sing at the dinner table. Maybe it is in some cultures, but like if we got caught even like simply humming a tune in our head, we were scolded. That man had a death glare that could actually harm people. I also feel so weird a little bit about sharing this. This is something that I have actually kind of wanted to talk about and share, just because it's kind of wild. But so bear with me for taking a very slow time to get into these facts. But he did not have any kids of his own, so he just had my sisters and I, my mother's kids, and step-parents can be a true parent. They can be your real parent. It doesn't matter if you're blood or not, but he made it very known that we were not his children. So we, as in my sisters and I, had a lot of responsibility in the house. I mean, I think that it's normal to obviously teach your kids how to do chores, and they should learn all of these things about the house and stuff, but like it was up to us and only us. Like, I kid you not, he had us doing the yard work, he had us climbing up on the roof, getting shit out of the gutters. Anytime like things would break in our house, my older sister and my mom would be the one to fix it. Like, he just didn't do, he didn't, why do I feel bad about saying these things about him? I shouldn't feel bad because it's just the truth. Anyways, yes, so for example, one time we were raking leaves, aka I was raking leaves in the front yard. I wasn't even in trouble or anything. Like, this wasn't supposed to be punishment, but he had me rake the front yard all by myself. Mind you, we kind of did have a big yard growing up, which that I am thankful for. We had a lot of space to play outside. Thank you, Lord. But it started to get really dark. He had my little sister come outside to see if I was done raking. I was not done raking. I could not see. It was literally dark outside. And he made me stay out there. He made me rake the leaves until I was done. I feel like some of these things I may be explaining and you may not think is that bad, but like when this happened, I had to have been like 8 or 10 years old. I was little, and he made me stay outside until it was very, very late, very dark, did not care, just wanted me to do it, had no explanation, you know. That's just kind of upsetting. You know how they say that children are seen and not heard? We were not seen, we were not heard. We were not allowed to like be around him, and he didn't like a lot of noise, so if we were laughing too hard, he had something to say. He didn't like it when we were having a good time. Again, I think that him just like might have been a little miserable in his own brain, so he just took it out on everyone else all the time. I can't believe I'm sharing this with you guys. It's a little intimate. It's a little personal. It's okay though. We're here to get personal. So one time I did actually get in trouble at school for something minuscule, but at that point I was like terrified to get in trouble at school because I knew that when I got home I was gonna be in way more trouble, to the point where I started telling on myself, and I would like exaggerate what had happened. And I don't know why. I think I was just like trying to get it all out of the way, and like I would get in trouble for like leaving a part out or something if they found out later. So eventually I just would like spit all the facts, but I would exaggerate it and make it sound way worse and get myself in trouble anyways. I don't know. I think I just wanted to like get it over with or something. But this one specific time, I think I was in 3rd grade, I got in trouble at school. So I got grounded, and my punishment was I had to like go to my room. I had to stay in my room. I wasn't allowed to watch TV, wasn't allowed to play with my toys, you know, the normal things. But my older sister used to babysit us, and one day they were at work and stuff, so she let me watch TV in my room, and he came home from work early, caught me watching TV, so he changed my punishment to I had to sit just in my bed. I couldn't come out of my room unless it was for like dinner, to go to the bathroom. My sister and I shared a room. She wasn't even allowed to come into the room. Like, I was not allowed access to anyone else. But I had to sit in my bed, no blankets, no toys, no pillows, for a month. A month straight. That man put me in prison, literally. Which, fun fact, he worked at a prison. So I think him being a corrections officer, he was bringing work home, and he was treating us a little bit like prisoners. That's all I gotta say, is that's what you would do to an inmate. You literally put me in a cell with no stimulation, no one else around. I couldn't get out for anything, really. And like, I don't know. So I feel like to this day, that has created a high ability of me being able to sit with myself, or to just, you know, not have any stimulation. Like, I really can. You know how like most people will sit in a waiting room, or they'll sit in a line and they'll like be on their phone, or they'll be doing something. Like, a lot of people can't just like sit there, which is not a big deal. But I can just sit there and like stare into space. And I think that situation kind of taught me to be able to do that. So like, was it traumatizing and upsetting, and did I want to rip my skin off when that was happening? Yes. Am I grateful that I'm able to do nothing and be okay? Yes. Pros and cons. This one is one of the more uncomfortable parts of it. Was goodness, he used to make a lot of comments on our clothes and our bodies and stuff. He just was not nice about it. Like, he would make us change our clothes all the time, and he said something so vulgar one time, I can't even say it myself. So I was wearing yoga pants, and he said, okay, you know the P word for vagina? I'm gonna spell it, P-U-S-S-Y. That is one of my least favorite words. It's very hard for me to say, but also saying it in the way that I know was coming out of his mouth is just, I literally get sick to my stomach when I think about it. But he said, I can see your P-U-S-S-Y lips through your pants. Go change. I was, So most of these things that were happening, we were very young and we were kids, so we were like, the adult is right, you know? So I still have quite a bit of an issue of feeling like I'm wearing anything provocative or showing my skin, which I do for literally like exposure therapy. I hate wearing bikinis in front of people. I don't like to dress and wear certain clothes because, you know, the comments that he would make, the fact that he would literally make me change my clothes, or he would wait to say something until we were like in front of my friends or something. Like, he wouldn't call me out for certain things, like just us alone. He would wait until we were with like a group of people and he would say it out loud in front of these people. So he did his best to try to, I think, just embarrass us. But yeah, the one comment about my coochie lips being seen through my pants just still sticks with me, and I'm aware that I'm allowed to wear what I want, and I'm learning how to be way more comfortable in my skin. But dude, I that happened years and years ago, and it's still, I feel it. I can feel him watching me from wherever he is and whatever comment he is gonna make, you know? So I feel like this is also just another example of me trying to validate that, like, it can take years to let go of how you were being, not let go, because I feel like I've let go of it, but like, I was brainwashed. I don't know. I was wired to think all these certain ways that I had to break, and it can take some time, and that's okay, because I have really made a lot of progress. As you can see, I'm wearing a tank top and you can see a little bit of my boobie. Just certain comments that were made. If I ever heard a man say that to a little girl out in public, I would raise hell. I think a lot of people were just scared to stand up to him. Like, they just did not know what he was gonna do or what he was gonna say. So what he said went, and let's move on. Ooh, another one of the freaking nasty comments that he had to make for no reason is we like partially weren't allowed to wear perfume, or when we did, he used to tell us that we smelled like French whores. Why? I'll wear perfume now, and that's not something that really like, it's something that I'm uncomfortable with, but if I spray too much on, like, I don't feel like I'm not allowed to, but the comment is there. You know, like, I'm still doing what I want, but every now and then, a little peep of Bob telling me I smell like a whore because I'm wearing vanilla perfume. Make that make sense. Why was that comment necessary? It wasn't. There's a part that I want to talk about, but I'm a little scared too, but I might say it. Am I gonna say it? Guys, am I gonna tell you? This is really scary. This is quite very scary. I told you before that I have CPTSD, and CPTSD comes from like years of this, or like multiple occasions, not just like one specific scenario happened and now I have complex PTSD. You just have PTSD. But this specific event definitely gave me some sort of PTSD, because when I think about it, like even right now, like knowing I'm working myself up to tell you what happened, but it's crazy and it's scary. But so this man, Bob, was someone that owned a lot of firearms, and he worked with firearms. He worked with the safety of firearms. So you would think he would have known a lot fucking better. Sorry, excuse my French, but bruh, when I tell you this, just, I don't know what you're gonna think or what you're gonna feel. But on multiple occasions, this man would like take his firearms out of his safe and would mess with them, play with them, just hold them. I don't know. He liked his firearms, so he held them and stuff. And this is crazy, and I can't believe is it bad if I say all of this? Because it's kind of bad. Anyway, it's not bad because nothing happened from it, but something really bad could have happened from it. But this man, Bob, would occasionally point these firearms at us, you know, like he knew what he was doing and he knew it wasn't loaded. Number one rule about firearms, you do not point them at other people. It's disrespectful, it's unsafe, and he just did not listen to this rule. So 30 seconds before the gun went off, he had it pointed at us. And when the gun went off, we all went fucking deaf because there was a big ass bullet in it. And I feel like I'm not supposed to say GUN online, but I said it and I did it. And it was a big one. It wasn't a small one, it was a big one. So he like shot a round off out the floor and it went off. But 30 seconds before that, it was pointed at us. And like, I don't think that he was pointing these at us for any malicious intent. I don't know. I don't know what was going on through this man's mind, but picturing this scenario and reliving it in my brain anytime I explain it or I think about it, because when I talk about it, I'm kind of like, this happened, but bruh, we could have died. Sorry, that's not fucking funny. But yeah, he shot it off at the floor and there was a huge hole in it, like this size, in the ground. He covered the hole with a phone book and told us not to tell anyone. That, I think, is one of the worst scenarios. And yeah, that was really scary and that was really dangerous. And no matter how much you think you know about firearms, you're a dumbass if you still think it's okay for you to point it at people. Don't do that! Don't do that! Earlier, I said that he was somewhat absent, which he was. He did not like to support us or be around. He didn't like come out with us for our birthdays usually too often. It was like a us and my mom type thing, or friends, whatever. But he didn't, which is fine. Again, a lot of these things, I'm like, I've learned how not to be as a parent, so I'm grateful. And I think that a lot of this has made me who I am today, and it has given me the ability to like deal with a lot of shit. Not deal with, but like understand. I don't know. I hope you get where I'm trying to go with that. But he did not come to our school events. He did not come to our sport events. He did not like that stuff. So he would, I kid you not, drop me off at my cross country races and my track races and would leave. He wouldn't drop me off and stay and watch. He literally would just leave my ass. And my mom was usually, like I said, working 2 or 3 jobs. So like as much as she wanted to make it, she just couldn't. So thank you for all of my friends, parents, and family members who cheered me on and who did support me through any of these school events or sport events. I'm really grateful to you. The 2 races. He made it to 2 races, which were in middle school. Mind you, I ran cross country until I was 18. I ran cross country my whole life pretty much. So out of my whole life, he made it to 2 races. But then afterwards proceeded to tell me that I should have done better. Proceeded to tell me that I shouldn't have let this person beat me. And that I looked like a fucking... He used to call us the R words a lot. Honestly, he was very vulgar and called us a lot of names. That's honestly a given. If he's being this mean about other stuff, you best believe he didn't like us. So, yeah, he just would name call. And he used the R word a lot. And so one time at band camp, now is not the time for jokes, Kendra. But he said I can't even say it. He said I looked R-worded. Does that make sense? When I was running. So honestly, at that point too, like, yeah, it's upsetting that you're not here to support me, but honestly, stay at home. If you're just gonna be mean to me while I'm trying to do something accomplishing, like, get away from me. And I wasn't a terrible runner either. I wasn't varsity, but I was like good in JV. That's all that matters. I ran my little heart out and he didn't give a fuck. So will I be showing up to every single thing that my futuristic children have? Yes, I don't even care if the parents aren't even supposed to be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm showing up. I'm gonna peep through the windows. I don't give a fuck. My children will always know that I am there and that I'm supporting them and that every achievement is an important achievement. So again, pros and cons. I've learned a lot in life from this man not showing up. Also, at this point in life, we didn't have contact with my biological father. I don't know how to really explain that. He just didn't live in the same state as we did, and it was hard for us to see him all the time. So eventually at one point, my biological father called the police and was like, hey, Bob is not letting my kids see me. So the cops came to our house and they were like, hey kids, do you want to see your biological father? And Bob stood behind these policemen and shook his head no. Like, tell them no, you know? So we were like, no, we don't want to see our dad. What the fuck? And I was little, so like, of course, at a certain age, I'm gonna be grown enough to be like, yeah, I want to see my dad. But I was scared of Bob. I didn't want to go against Bob. I didn't want to get in trouble. So we did what Bob said. And to a certain degree, Bob just would not let us see our biological father. And that's all I have to say about that. Don't force your kids to lie to the police. Duh. Something I grew up to believe was that people's parents' bedrooms were off limits. Milta's having a bad dream over there. Boo boo. Are you okay? I heard him crying in his sleep. We weren't allowed in my parents' bedroom unless Bob wasn't home. A lot of times we didn't have access to my mom unless Bob wasn't home. I can't explain that any further, but we were not allowed in his bedroom. And so I grew up forever thinking that, like, you're not allowed in your friends' parents' bedrooms. You're not allowed, like, even my boyfriends and stuff, like, I wouldn't step foot into their bedroom. Like, I do think that it's respectful to not be going into other people's rooms. I do not do that. If you're home or not, like, I am not in your bedroom. You could ask me to come into your bedroom and I will stand at the door for a little bit until I sense the vibe and sense that it's totally okay for me to, like, come and sit on your bed. But this is one of the things I believe he kind of treated us like, or like a comment he would make that was kind of like, you're talking to a prisoner right now. It's like, we'd be standing at their doorway to their bedroom, and if we had like our head peeked in a little too much, he'd be like, get behind the line. Like, you're too in here. Get behind the line? What? He just hated us. This man did not like us. I'm gonna keep saying that, but this man did not like us. He definitely sheltered us somewhat from our friends and our families. I didn't understand that around Christmas time, friends would be like, yeah, I'm going to see my family for the holidays. And I'd be like, don't you live with them? Like, I didn't think it was normal to see your grandparents and your cousins and your aunts and your uncles. Like, I just thought that, like, you saw them maybe once every like 5 or 10 years or something. Like, I didn't know that people hang out with their family for the holidays, so I would just be kind of confused by that, I guess. I am in contact with a lot of my family members now. Duh. Of course, you best believe that once I was free of that man, I contacted everybody I could. Hi, sunshine. To anyone's surprise, we weren't allowed to have boyfriends. We weren't allowed to have boy friends either. We had this rule where when we were 16 we could start dating, but once we turned 16 that rule changed to like, you're not allowed to date boys ever, pretty much. So I mean, I still did it, but it just made it a little complicated, or just, you know, tricky to have to like sneak around. And like, my mom would let us do this. My mom knew that we had every right to like have these friendships and relationships. Something kind of strange that he would do is he would like sneak around the house and like listen to our private conversations, which we slowly picked up on him doing. He would listen in on my friends and I's conversations. He would listen in on my sisters and I's conversations. He would come up in the middle of the night, come into our room with fucking flashlights to like try to catch us doing something we weren't supposed to be doing. I'm gonna have to honestly cut this short because my phone is running out of storage and it's not gonna let me tell you guys any more of this story. Maybe I'll have to just make a part 2 because there's a lot more I could say, but I feel like the moral of the story is that I did grow up with someone that was somewhat miserable, and he was not the funnest to be around, and he just wasn't super kind or anything, but I am not that person, and I have not turned into him. And I feel like it's also just proof in the pudding that you can change and you can choose who you want to be regardless of anything that has happened to you. I just will always want to be someone that can, like, I don't know, support, be there for people that are going through shit that no one else is seeing behind closed doors. Sorry, this glare is going crazy. I almost forgot to let you guys say hi and bye to somebody. Mata de churro. Recently, my new thing to call my animals and people and things is mamas. Even though you're a boy, I'm still gonna call you mamas. He got the gracious opportunity of never meeting Bob, thankfully. I guess the last thing I want to share about that is when my mom finally decided that she was going to leave Bob, didn't want Bob in our lives anymore. She asked if he would move out so we could keep our childhood home and still live there. He was like, I don't have anywhere to go. So he stayed, and we uprooted our lives and we left and we moved just to find out he moved anyways, and he abandoned our dogs. We had no idea. Shit was crazy. Yeah, okay. But I have no idea where Bob is, nor do I really care. A lot of these things that my sisters and I and my mom went through, you know, we were pretty brainwashed, I think, for a bit. And a lot of people around us may have not had any idea what was going on, which is totally cool. It's like not really anyone else's business to have to know. But I just thought that I would share that as a little bit of a story time, because some of that shit is crazy. I just wanted to spread the, what is it? Spread the tea, give the tea. I spilled the tea. I spilled it. I spilled the hot, spicy, flaming tea. Anyways, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, big boy. Your breath honestly doesn't smell too bad. That's great. Chihuahuas are super known for having like the stinkiest breath because their teeth go bad really fast, but we give him teeth brushings. Anyways, like I said, if this was something that was somewhat kind of interesting, maybe I'll make a part 2. If it goes horribly wrong and people don't like it, then we'll never talk about it again. Otherwise, we are grateful that we are who we are and that we are where we are. I'm still living and learning, dealing and coping sometimes, but we're healing. Oh, we're gonna sign off now. All right, see you later. Mwah, love you. Ugh! Why'd I do that? Okay. Don't forget to moisturize. Cheese.